Hey go-getters, welcome back to the channel. So some time ago we made a video talking about agro-processing businesses that you could launch in Africa and make good money for yourself. So a lot of you showed interest in the oil palm plantation. So that's what we are going to be covering today. So if you're interested, please get your bowl of popcorn and a pen to jot down everything. So I am going to be walking you through everything you need to know as concerns the oil palm plantation. And it might interest you to know that according to the International Union of Conservation of Nature, that is the IUCN, palm oil is important for global food security and economic development. With this business, if you do it right and follow all the steps I'll be giving you in this video, you can make over $500,000 per year. And that's why I would advise you pay keen attention to everything I will be saying in this video, and also get yourself a paper and pen to jot down everything. What I will be giving you in this video is actually first-hand information, for it is one of the businesses in which I am involved. So I am giving you first-hand information, and I've got a pretty good offer for you within the lines in the video. So stay tuned, for I don't know exactly when I'll be dropping the offer, but if you are keen and watch this video till the end, you aren't going to be missing out on it. The oil palm industry is something that's not new, but recently in Africa it has been booming, for the prices of palm oil keep rising as the days go by. So this is some business that you don't want to choke with. And the thing is, while most African dishes are cooked with palm oil, Africa doesn't really produce a lot of palm oil. And palm oil, like any other oil, is that one product that doesn't rot, so you can easily export it. And we've got a huge market abroad that you can actually target and make good money for yourself. You know, our African diaspora that lives abroad constantly need palm oil for their traditional meals. And surprisingly enough, when I did my research, only one African country actually featured in the list of the top 5 producers of oil palm worldwide. And that country is Nigeria. The first 4 are Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Colombia. The top 2 being Indonesia and Malaysia. So you know that these 2 countries actually account for 84% of the total commodity supply in the world. So aside from Nigeria, what are the other African countries doing? Because this is one industry in which people are cashing out big, and it is something that we actually consume a lot and can export easily. So go-getters, I am going to be walking you through exactly what you need to know in this business and how much you could make approximately. But before we do that, let me quickly remind you that oil palm production is so lucrative, for it isn't used just for consumption. It is used as well for things like margarine, food oil, basic vegetable fats, specialist fats, and it's also used industrially for the production of things like fatty acids, soaps, cosmetics, inks, and resins, among others. And the oil palm plantation is a very good investment also, because not only it provides domestic raw vegetable oil for locals, but it also provides employment. This is because, you know, when it comes to oil palm, we are talking of hectares and hectares of land, and most times people go for 100 hectares and more. So imagine the amount of youths, for example, that you are going to be employing and making their lives better. And just so you know, there are some advantages with this business that I am going to be giving you just a few of them. One of them being the fact that oil palm plantations don't really need a lot of work. For the most time, you are going to be investing your time and energy mostly at the beginning, that is the first 3 years, because generally it takes about 3 to 4 years to start bearing fruits. So that is the only period within which you are going to be needing to put a lot of effort. For the rest of the time, you just keep harvesting and making your money. Another advantage is the fact that most times you don't really need irrigation. If needed, drip irrigation and sprinklers are most suitable. And another good thing is the fact that intercropping doesn't really affect it. So if you have your oil palm plantation, you could as well chip in 1 or 2 crops in between, and you are still going to be having your yields unperturbed. And one of the best advantages with oil palm plantation is the fact that you actually harvest 2 times a year, alright? We've got what we call the high yield periods and the medium yield periods. So with the high yield periods, you can make as much as 725 liters of palm oil per hectare. And to me, this is actually the best advantage with this business. Do you know that when it comes to the lifespan, your oil palm plants could last up to 100 years, but the only thing is, the taller it gets, the more difficult it becomes to harvest your palms. But then what you should note is that the high yield periods for your palms is actually 25 to 30 years. So let's say it has a productive lifespan of 25 to 30 years. So within these years, I am going to be giving you shortly the statistics of how much approximately you could make per year with your oil palm plantation. So there are two options, alright? You could actually produce your oil palm trees and nurse them to the stage where they start producing, and you sell them out to the producers of palm oil. That is if you don't want to involve yourself in the transformation, alright? If not, you could actually go ahead to transform it to finished products, which is the palm oil. So if you go for that option, you will therefore need to make use of machines like the thresher, the oil press machine, the oil filter machine, the belt conveyor, and the screw conveyor. Now, one last thing you should know is the conditions that are most suitable for the oil palm plantation. So the ideal soil for your oil palm is the moist, deep, and well-drained sandy clay soil. This is simply because it stores sufficient water and plant nutrients. So like I said earlier, the oil palm plantation takes about 3 to 4 years to mature and start bearing fruits. So with this business, you would have to exercise patience, alright? And you know, within this period, you're going to be spending money, time, and energy for your plants to mature before you start selling and making money, right? So like I said earlier, I've got some good offer for you. So I'll be giving out 2 hectares of oil palm trees for those who are interested. So if you're interested, DM me to get the details. So like I said, I've done everything already and it is ready for production. It has started producing already. So once you get it, you can just start exploiting the palm kernel. So if you are versed with Cameroon or you're a Cameroonian, it is actually located at Magba between the West and the Adamawa regions of Cameroon. So if you're interested, you can email me at africatodayinfo.com. So just write to me and make sure to title it Oil Palm Deal so that I know you're talking of oil palm, because we receive lots of emails per day and I would like to easily identify you. So there are 2 ways of going about this business. You could either go for the option of cultivating it and taking care of it to mature and start selling it just like I told you I am doing right now, or you can go ahead to transform it to finished products, which is oil, right? And when it comes to oil palm trees, the most valuable one is the Tenera species, and it is locally called the American palm nut, and this is the best because it has a small shell, therefore producing much oil. And the most suitable climate for these are between 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit and tropical or subtropical conditions. And one thing you should know is that the palms really have to be planted in triangular pattern, 9 meters apart, that is 9 by 9. But this enables a maximum air conditions that permits the trees to grow and expand well, and also to minimize the light competition among the trees. That said, let's go straight to an estimate of how much you could actually make per hectare, thereby giving you an idea of how much you could make per 10 hectare and so on and so forth. So averagely, a hectare takes about 145 to 150 palm trees. So generally, a palm tree produced about 5 liters of oil per harvest. So you're going to be having about 725 liters per hectare per harvest. So let's do some rough calculations here. So assuming you make only 700 liters per hectare, right? That's just an estimation. And let's assume you have about 50 hectares, because generally when it comes to plantations of large scale, people go to 100 hectares and more. So let's assume you have 50 hectares of land. So let's do a rough calculation. Your 50 hectares times just 700, all right? Remember, you would be making about 725 liters. So let's just take 700. That's the minimum, right? So let's just go for 50 hectares times 700. It gives you 35,000 liters of oil. So a liter sells for about 1,100 here in Cameroon, which is something like $2. So let's assume you as the producer, you sell it for just $0.50, that is 500 francs. So if you take your 35,000 liter times just 500 francs, which is $0.50, you are going to be making 17,500,000, which is about $29,000. That is just for one harvest, right? And remember, you harvest 2 times a year. So if we times it by 2, you are going to be making about 35 million francs CFA, which is equally about $58,000. So that is what you can make approximately per year if you harvest only 700 liters of oil per hectare, which is the minimum that we took, right? So now, go-getters, you have an idea of how much you could make per year with your oil palm plantation, and that keeps multiplying as much as you increase. So if you've got 100 hectares, you just do this times 2, and so on and so forth. And also, I would advise you get a storehouse or a depot where you store your oil and where your customers come and get them. And you're going to be dealing mostly with wholesalers, right? And also, you can go ahead to also export your finished products yourself, making you earn much more money. So like I said, I've got 2 hectares of mature oil palm trees for sale. So if you're interested, you know what to do. So we've come to the end of the video, but we can't go without thanking our lovely members who've subscribed to help the channel grow. That said, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you on my next one.